Have you ever been censored? I was just being interviewed on a podcast called I Know a Guy with a guy from the US called Anthony. And I was talking about why I first started in the media and what's attracted me to working in the media. And I said the biggest thing I love about what I do is being able to impact change about things that matter to me. And one thing that matters to me is being humane with animals and being kind to animals. And I mentioned that one of the very first stories I wrote was an anti-duck shooting story for the University of Canberra newspaper Curio, which I edited back in 93, 94, well before the social media days. And the headline was "Go and Get Ducked." I couldn't understand why people were shooting ducks for fun. And then I started to talk about game hunting and about trophy hunting and how people get rewarded for hunting endangered animals. And in fact, they get more points for hunting in cruel ways. The most rare animal and the crueler way that they're killed, or the most unique way they're killed, these hunters get rewarded for this. And as I started to talk about this, we were recording on Riverside for this podcast, and suddenly I got kicked off the podcast. Like literally, the recording was stopped. And no matter what I did to try to get back on to be on this podcast, nothing was working until I opened an incognito window on my browser. And through the incognito window, I was able to then log back into the podcast. So how interesting that the minute I start talking about trophy hunting of endangered animals, that I get kicked off the podcast. Now, luckily, Anthony's a great guy. He said, we'll reschedule, it's all good. However, we're being listened to all the time, right? The AI, the bots are in there. And this is the first time I've been censored. I've talked about other things around COVID, around the jab and around, the dangers of mask wearing. And, it's been censored on YouTube, on Facebook, for medical misinformation. And I always think, well, if there's nothing to hide, why the censorship? Now, in my 41 years of media experience, the world of media has changed so rapidly. And I'm so grateful for social media to be able to share messages now, to be able to impact change. It's not going to stop me from speaking up about things. You might be able to censor me on one platform or maybe another platform, or maybe you'll cut one video down or whatever. However, you're not going to be able to censor me forever. And, this is why, thank goodness, we have a whole lot of truth media out there. Things like Telegram, BitChute, Rumble. You can actually see a whole lot of censored material